Culture unwrapped, each click is gold. From the old school beats to new tales told. News and reviews, she tells it straight. With Tasha Pierce, life's living great.
What's up, Team No T, and welcome back to Unwrap. It is I, Tosh, and I'm here today to talk about Creature Commandos, the first project of James Gunn's new DCU, and it is part of the Gods and Monsters phase. So, I had a couple questions going into this series. First question I had is, who the hell wanted this? Who asked for this? Because I am unfamiliar with the Creature Commandos, but I was also unfamiliar with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and look at what he did with that, he being James Gunn. So I said I'm going to trust the process here, and I'm sort of kind of glad I did. And then my second question, if I could sit down and talk to James Gunn myself, I would ask, why did you start your universe with the monsters? Now, we know we're going to get the gods a little later on this year, right? Or at least one of the gods a little later on this year. But why was it important for James Gunn to start his universe with the monsters? I can understand why we did it in an animated form because, it's easier to do a lot of the more violent and the more ambitious stuff that he wanted to pull off with these creatures. He was able to do that better in an animated format. So I appreciated and enjoyed that aspect of things. So this series, in essence, without me getting super spoilery, it kind of explores the themes of perception versus reality as it pertains to the monsters. Who are the monsters? And how do we know they are monsters? Well, the second part of that question is real easy to answer. They look like monsters. Just look at them. The whole group, they are a scary looking bunch. The monsters are in prison, and Amanda Waller tells us they're monsters. So that's all we need, right? We can always believe Amanda Waller. Why would she lie? Further, why would they be in prison? You have to do something pretty bad to go to prison, right? Right? Our monster lineup starts with the big boss of the monsters, and that is the Bride. The Bride is really the Bride of Frankenstein. She was put together by Dr. Frankenstein to be the bride, the wife of the Frankenstein monster, who is also in the series. He's just not part of the task force. So she wants really nothing to do with Eric Frankenstein. But Eric Frankenstein is crazy about the Bride. But anyway, she's the leader. Our next member of this task force is G.I. Robot, who is a metal man. He's a robot who was built in the World War II era, and he is programmed to kill Nazis. And he was damn good at his job. Then we have Alex Sartorius, who is also Dr. Phosphorus. Dr. Phosphorus was a geneticist. His entire life was spent trying to not only be a good husband and father, but to cure cancer. After a freak incident, he became Dr. Phosphorus, a crime lord who is permanently radioactive. So you talk about a heel turn. Dr. Phosphorus did a complete 180. Our final character in the monster lineup is Nina Mazursky. And Nina Mazursky is like an aquatic creature, and she's not designed to live on land. So while she's on land, she is confined to this containment suit. And she is the final member of the Monster Squad. Editing Tosh here. As I was editing this video, I realized I left out Weasel, y'all. And we all remember Weasel. He was from the Suicide Squad, and he was one of the members of the team who was not supposed to make it out of that film. But surprise, surprise, he has what it takes to live, to survive. And that is what made his addition on this Monster Squad so very important to Waller. Now, the handler for the Monster Squad was Rick Flag Sr., who we remember is the father of Rick Flag Jr. from the Suicide Squad that Peacemaker killed. He is still trying to put his life together after the loss of his son. Now, Waller has mobilized this group of monsters to go to Pokolistan, which is an ally of the United States. They're going there to protect the Princess Ilana, from a group of sons of Themyscira who have been radicalized by an Amazonian sorceress named Cersei. Okay, you following me? I'm not going to spoil too much. I'm really not going to give you any plot points because I got a strong, sneaky feeling that a lot of you haven't watched Creature Commandos, and spoiler alert, I think you should watch it. Because like most viewers, I entered this series in watching these 7 episodes with the idea that because I can trust my lying eyes, I knew who the monsters were. And looks can be deceiving, and everything is not always as it appears. Each one of the monster characters gave us an opportunity to get to know them through an episode that was spotlighted on them and their backstory. And we realized that even these characters who are visually grotesque or scary, most of them are simply seeking love and understanding, especially when you get to the stories of GI Robot, Weasel, and Nina. Conversely, most of the most truly monstrous acts might be committed by the humans in this series. And this is what I think is probably part of the genius of why James Gunn starts with the monsters. The humans, they look like me and you, so we trust them. But those humans, will take for example Amanda Waller. She's a ruthless person. Her ruthless nature is a product of the system that she serves and thrives in. And we trust her, at least I did, because she looks like me. But then when you look at the monsters, you automatically distrust these monsters, and only based upon how they look. So, one of the takeaways that I have from this series is that we have to remember to check your biases at the door. Monsters are not inherently born. Monsters are shaped or they're created by circumstance. And the way a person looks doesn't determine their morality. And I found myself, who I think I'm a pretty, common sense person. I talk about common sense all the time. But automatically, upon seeing this group, I had already assigned them as anti-heroes, when in all actuality, some of them may have been the most moral characters in the series. So we got to remember nature versus nurture. Just because a person looks a certain way does not mean that they will behave a certain way, and vice versa. Just because a person has money or they are beautiful or they are talented in one way does not mean they are not a piece of shit in other ways. It taught me a lesson about me, that I'm very surface at times. Even if it's just about an animated series, that was a very surface assumption for me to make. The number one, that these characters didn't have anything of value to add to the DCU, which is why I questioned why James Gunn started with these characters. And then number two, I assumed that I knew where things were going when, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy. I should have known. You never know where things are going. So if you watch the series, let me know. So, if you watch the series, let me know down in the comments what you thought of these episodes. I thought it was well done. Was it perfect? No. But it was a great start for the DCU, and I can't wait to see the Gods portion coming this July. So, put your thoughts down in the comments. While you're there, make sure you've hit the like button if you like this video. If you made it this far, you liked the video. So, hit the like button and subscribe. Yes, then you can meet me back here at the intersection between pop culture and common sense, where we will sip on coffee or hot chocolate. No tea. No tea. Because you deserve so much more than just tea. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.